Hello, everyone. Pancreatitis has a mortality rate of 5%. How do you even know that you have pancreatitis? Can pancreatitis be cured with success through natural medicine? Does it have any evidence? Well, we will be exploring all these questions in our session today. I am Amita from Nourish Doc, a platform for natural and holistic therapies. Presenting this session, I am super excited to introduce Padma Shri Vaidya Balendu Prakash ji. Vaidya Prakash ji, hello. Vaidya Prakash ji is an Ayurveda researcher and practitioner of international repute. He has developed research and done clinical trials on pancreatitis patients with successful outcomes and filed a patent for his treatment protocol as well. Welcome, Vaidya Balendu Prakash ji.
Thank you.
All right, we will get started now. So to start with, if you could just give us an overview of what is pancreatitis.
Thank you, Amitaji. First of all, I would like to thank all the viewers and participants, and especially to Nourish Doc for inviting me to present my experiences in the treatment of pancreatitis, which is an amalgamation of two sciences where the diagnostic have been taken from the conventional medicine, but the treatment protocol is based on ages-old system of medicine of India called Ayurveda. So I will proceed first of all. What is pancreatitis? As the word speaks for itself, pancreatitis means inflammation of the pancreas, but the special characteristic of the disease is it is a progressive disease. Once there's a pancreatitis, it never goes back, it keeps on progressing. And that's why there's a significant mortality is associated with the disease. And the first case of pancreatitis came in the world in 1682, where a Brazilian in Brazil, where a Dutch anatomist identified it. And in India, the first case was identified in 1937. But you can see that by 2015, the world has seen the upsurge of annual pancreatitis patient to the tune of 8.9 million cases globally in that year. And besides, the number of cases are increasing, but the mortality is increasing. There is a study published which says that 55% people survive for 20 years in a country like the United States. And the disease, while it has so much things, it affects physical state, mental state, financial state, social state. So it is a big burden to the people. Now the question comes, what is very special about this pancreatitis? The pancreatitis inflamed of the pancreas stops the flow of enzymes from the pancreas, which is essential for the digestion. And when these enzymes are within the pancreas, it develops autophagy, means self-destruction of tissues. So patient may start losing weight, and patient may start feeling poor digestion. So these are the miseries related to that. And broadly, pancreatitis can be classified into two forms, acute and chronic. Acute means a patient may have history of disease for 5 years with many attacks, but it can remain acute because there is only inflammation. But a patient can be a chronic patient without any attack because it is distinguished by the structural changes which can be seen in the images like ultrasound, MRI, CT scan. So this is very important to know because many people feel that acute means sudden and chronic means old. But in this category of disease, acute and chronic can be from the day one, and acute can be for 5 years or maybe more. So the diagnosis of the pancreatitis is very crucial. It is not an easy diagnosis. So diagnosis should be made by a competent gastroenterologist who is not only well versed with the diagnosis of pancreatitis, but he or she is well versed with the other disorder of GIT. And it is not a clinical diagnosis. It is based on images. It is based on ultrasound, CT scan, MRI. The ERCP is an invasive test and MRCP is a non-invasive test. And the worldwide, MRCP is considered to be the most safe and easy way to understand the diagnosis and to note the progression and regression in any case.
So let's talk about the cause. What causes it?
Yes, that's again a very interesting topic to tell that what is the cause. Worldwide, alcoholics are blamed for having pancreas. Alcohol is considered as the main causative factor for the pancreatitis. But you can read no definite cause. And in my forthcoming slides, I will show you how this is how it is different than the alcohol cause. But the worldwide, the one factor has been accepted, which is called T-GARO. T for toxins, that includes alcohol also. And an interesting finding is, though alcohol is blamed for pancreatitis, but only 3% alcoholic get it. And second is idiopathic. Nobody knows why it is coming. That is called idiopathic. G for genetic. There is a saying that 15% patients come from the close family. And A for autoimmune. Again, it is an idiopathic type where nobody knows why it is this. And recurring acute pancreatitis may lead to chronic pancreatitis, that is for R, and O for obstructive jaundice. Many patients who have gallstone, they develop it. So these are known as T-GARO factors, but none of the factor can be said that it is a sure short diagnosis of pancreatitis. In India, the studies published have indicated that in Indian scenario, pancreatitis is more prevalent among non-alcoholic, and they found it is a protein malnutrition and mineral deficiency, and that's why it has a different name called tropical chronic pancreatitis.
That's very interesting in your research, how you India is different than the rest of the world. So
no, because you see, I will tell you, because India, because wine is the culture of the West. So when they see more alcohol consumption in the West, so they attribute it to that. But in India, still alcohol is a social taboo, and many people drink differently. But for very sure, it is not in house to house wine culture. So the symptom of pancreatitis is very peculiar and it is confusing. There's a sudden onset of pain in the upper abdomen. And this pain is different than other pain of the abdomen because which should be there minimum for 2 days, not responding to any conventional or routine treatment. So that is the upper abdominal pain, severe category. At a VAS score, it can be 10 and it radiates to back with nausea and vomiting. But this is in 90% cases. But in 10% cases, there cannot be any symptom other than weight loss or passing fat in the stool or uncontrolled blood sugar. So these are the, in general, symptoms of the thing. And the treatment for the disease is, there is a treatment, but no treatment, because treatment is basically management of emergency attack by hospitalization. And for 3 to 5 days, there is no fluid, no even water from the mouth. They are giving intravenous fluid, antibiotics, painkillers, anti-inflammatory. And afterwards, if it is a chronic pancreatitis, there will be a regime of lifelong pancreatic enzymes with moderate eating, no dairy, no milk, no butter, no fat, no egg, no meat like that. So this is the worldwide treatment, that management of the acute attack, but none of the treatment is able to arrest the progression of the disease.
So let's shift gears a little bit. We want to talk about your journey on how did you start developing this genesis of the Ayurvedic treatment for pancreatitis?
Yeah, I think after talking science, let me talk about some thriller movie, because this treatment, this treatment came to me through my father, who was an Ayurvedic physician. And in India, there is a law that an Ayurvedic physician can prepare his own medicines for his personal use in the clinical practice. So this is the peculiar law in the country, which is nowhere in the world, because Ayurveda was there in the tradition. So my father, who had a Guru Maharaj, he used to make his own medicine and following a very special branch of Ayurveda that is called Rasa Shastra. And Rasa Shastra means science of mercury and metals. And these are toxic in raw form, but he was taking years and years to make it. So in 70s, he started a formulation taking copper, mercury, and sulfur. And after 2-3 years, when this medicine was in a final stage, it was given. I think he was forced to give to a dying patient because the family was very keen to take this treatment from him for advanced pancreatic disease. And then my father gave it. So this was the incidental finding that this particular product gave a miraculous recovery to a dying patient of advanced pancreatic disease. So this was the journey. It was not a well thought, it is not a well researched, it just happened. And after that, my father was making medicine and giving to the patient with batch to batch variation. He passed away in 1984, and then I continued his practice. And between 1984 to 1996, I saw the same recovery rate in pancreatic diseases. And then I started documenting of my practice, following good clinical practice from 1997 onwards. And the first case who came to me in 1997, this is a coincidence that he is present in our hospital with his father, who has been diagnosed with a pre-leukemic stage. So he completed 23 years. But till then, and these all cases who came to us, no one was diagnosed by us. They were diagnosed by the leading gastroenterologists in a reputed hospital by following the guidelines of the modern medicine for the diagnosis of pancreatitis, different type of pancreatitis. So we are going to present today the data of 990 cases who have been enrolled in our clinical practice from January 97 till June 2020, but the majority of the cases are from November 2014 to 2020, because for 14 years, 97 to 2014, we have 48 cases only because it was word of mouth. But in 2014, we got a shot in our arm when our state government did a big seminar, and when we presented everything. So since then, we have good flow of the patients. So nearly 900 cases, 950 cases have been enrolled in last 5 years. So you can see that when these patients are from the different age group, and we are finding of late very interesting thing that below 11, the youngest case is 3 years old with diagnosed with pancreatitis. So we have 38 cases who are below 11 years, but the majority of the cases are 19 to 45, which is the productive age group, and its average onset in the world is 24 years. But by the time the age increases, the number of cases decreases. That is the generation of data which we are showing from our clinical practice.
So young people have been more prone to this pancreatitis.
Yeah, and you see, this is a mind-blogging this slide, because here what you can see, the first chart I'm showing that only 5% genetic, 95% of non-genetic. The disease is called genetic, but our data of 990 cases is saying non-genetic more. Then 80% are non-tobacco user. 20% are tobacco user out of these. Vegetarian or non-veg, I always say it is like an India-Pakistan match, up and down. But the last point, you can see the bar, that 70% patients are non-alcoholic. Only 30% are alcoholic. And when we make our data, we make sure that if a patient has taken once a month or in 6 months, we put them into alcoholic. So regular use of alcohol, if we take a thing, nearly 90% patients are those who are non-alcoholic or occasional alcoholic. But here, 70% are non-alcoholic and 30% are non-alcoholic. So it is giving a new clue to us that the pancreatitis has something more to do, which I will show in my coming slides. So this Ayurvedic treatment, as I said, it is prepared using minerals, and in the previous slide I have said that mineral deficiency. So when we are seeing consistency in our result, So this treatment has been standardized now, and now it is 1 year treatment where AMAR, the name of that medicine, which is mainly from copper, it is 3 to 4 mg per kg body weight, divided into 3 doses for a day. And with that, there are few Ayurvedic medicines because pancreatitis patients sometimes have elevated liver enzymes, sometimes they have inflamed colon, gases. So these other medicines, which is Prac-20, Hingvashtak-Churn, Narikal Laman, Rasonadivati, etc., they are used in conjunction with AMAR, but AMAR is the main medicine for the treatment of pancreatitis. And besides, Ayurvedic concept of treatment is based on three things. Ahar means diet, Vihar is lifestyle, and then medicine. It is not medicine only or lifestyle and diet. First follow the diet, then lifestyle, and then the medicines. So that way there are 3 meals and 3 snacks. And many people, I can say, this 3 meal, 3 snacks like a diabetic food. So it is the most healthy food where we give about 1800 to 2200 calories divided into 3 meals and 3 snacks. And with that, because it is an inflammatory disorder, complete physical and mental rest plays important role for first 4 months. So this is our protocol, which is bringing relief to the patients.
So would you say AMAR is a new compound that's made by your research, or how would you
Yeah, I will say the AMAR is a compound which was developed by my father in mid-70s, and now we have reached to a stage where it is well researched and standardized form, and it is named AMAR.
Yeah, that's a very interesting story. Let's look at the results after you started the treatment.
Yes, so I will start with my thing when we started treating our patient, because a lot of dilemma is about metals and minerals. So we have very interesting category of 24 cases who came to our practice. They took the medicine but never started. These are 24 cases. We have 17 deaths. As I said that the disease has significant death rate, which is about 55% patient die in 20 years in United States. But our data of 990 cases of India shows a very interesting thing that nearly 92% patients survive 10 years. Because after 10 years, the patient enrollment is very poor, nearly 7.3%. So from that death rate, we have come down to 17. And in this deaths, we have included even those cases who could take treatment only for 5 days, or when they came to us, their bilirubin was very high, they were full of edema. But whatever it is 17 death rate. We have 7 patients who showed relapse and progression of the disease even after completing 1 year treatment. But nearly 50% patients have completed 1 year treatment, are living disease-free and fear-free of the disease. Nearly 30% patients are on treatment. 5 patients have lost to follow-up, and there are 133 cases who did not continue treatment due to obvious many reasons. So this is our data, and what we are saying, the patient who completed 1 year treatment, this 465 cases, that is very amazing, very astonishing. We are 98% patient out of those who have completed are living disease-free without relapse, which I will show in the next slides.
That's very encouraging data. Specifically, as you said, the median survival for untreated advanced pancreatitis cancer or pancreatitis is very low. So this brings a lot of hope for a lot of people who are watching right now.
So this is the impact of Ayurvedic treatment, which brought us last year in Hawaii, where there was a 50th joint annual meet of American Pancreatic Association and Japan Pancreatic Society. It was a group of leading HPE, hepatic, biliary, and pancreatic disorders specialists, and we were the only non-conventional doctor who were invited to that. And out of 620 abstracts submitted, they selected 50, and this was because of this particular slide, which I'm going to show you. So there was a 1 year treatment. So this patient who came to us, there were 476 cases, who had weight loss, weight gain, number of attack, and hospitalization. That was before Ayurvedic treatment in the previous year. But when we started Ayurvedic treatment, you can see the number of hospitalization, which was 1097 in the previous year, has come down to 36 years after Ayurvedic treatment. One can say only, wow, how this has happened. And the emergency attack from 1763 has come down to 104. Nearly 90% patients did not experience any attack. And similarly, the weight loss because one of the clinical features is weight loss, it has stopped. Now weight loss is less and weight gain is more. So this is something very rich, and what we received the comment enriched with content and volume. So this data made us very proud, very happy about the efficacy of this mineral formulation in the treatment of pancreatitis.
This data definitely is wow. I think a lot of people who are suffering from pancreatitis, I don't think they're aware of this. So we are just trying to make sure that more people understand how the efficacy of Ayurveda, as Balenduji is explaining us now.
Yes, and the natural history of the disease says the disease is progressing, and the progression is seen by the images. So we are learner, we are not researcher, we are simple, traditional Ayurvedic practitioners where we don't know even the proper biology of the pancreas, but it is an incidental treatment which I had been carrying on, and we are trying to improve our quality and understanding on the disease. So this slide showed progression stage, and 262 patients have been evaluated pre and post, and we could not see any progression in any case. So that again reinforce our belief in the medicine that this medicine, this mineral is the cause of the disease, and this mineral is the answer of the disease, as there is no progression on these cases, and this practice have been continued now. Now all the patients are being evaluated for progression after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so. Any disease in Ayurveda, I'm fascinated by the theories of Ayurvedic concepts and practice. And one of the definition of the medicine says a medicine should be able to cure the disease. The medicine should not cause any adverse effect or cause any other disease. It should be easy to consume. And number 4, the relapse should not be there. So relapse. So many times we see the modern medicines are able to treat the patient in acute condition, but after some time disease come back. But with this slide, we are trying to show you the sustainable effect of Ayurvedic treatment. And here you can see the 6 patients are those who have completed more than 20 years. As I said, the first patient has completed 23 years. There's a category of 15 to 20 years. So we keep an eye on our patient. And out of 476 cases, as I said, that there are 5 relapses and dropout and 6 deaths, including accident or heart attack, whatever it is. So this shows 98% patients have a sustainable effect of this treatment, which is unheard, unseen, and this is a wonderful data, which is I'm showing to people, because for many people it will be unbelievable that a patient of pancreatitis is living disease-free, attack-free, and leading a normal life.
Yes, and sustainability, as you mentioned, is key for any medication. So let's talk about the pancreatitis cancer and other things.
Yes, you see, there is a pancreatitis can be considered as an early marker for pancreatic cancer, because this is a known fact that esophagitis may lead to esophagus cancer. Similarly, pancreatitis patient convert into pancreatic cancer, and nearly 40% patients, especially of genetic disposition or elderly people, convert into pancreatic cancer. And there is a marker called CA19.9, and it is said that if it is more than 300 value, then it is pancreatic cancer. But in our practice, what we found that up to 1200 values have been reversed back after taking this treatment, and all the patients who have this high tumor markers, they started going back. Usually They are treated by chemotherapy, but chemotherapy gives temporary relief. It will go down, but after some time it will increase. So this effect of this medicine clearly shows that if this medicine is used, it can be a pancreatic cancer preventive medicine by curing pancreatitis or by reducing CA19.9 from elevated form to its normal form, which we have
Oh,
published this paper.
that's very encouraging. Is this medicine available in India or is it just that they have to come to your clinic to get treatment?
You see, this medicine takes 3 years to prepare. It
I
is
see.
not available in commercial market, but
Okay.
we are preparing this medicine and we use in our practice, and we are still in process of developing it, following the essential of drug development laid by WHO. It is a expensive and time-consuming thing. So meanwhile, this medicine is available within our infrastructure only.
Okay. Should we move on to the next slide?
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the backdrop of AMAR, as you mentioned earlier from your father, but let's talk a little bit more in detail.
Yes, as I said that AMAR is prepared using copper, mercury and sulfur. But from where it came? So it is a specialized branch of Ayurveda called Rasa Shastra. Rasa is a synonym of mercury. So this particular branch of Ayurveda was developed during 1st and 5th centuries in a place called Takshila and Nalanda. Takshila is in Pakistan now, and Nalanda is Bihar. And Acharya Nagarjuna was the first person who has developed it. And you may recall that 1st to 5th century, 1st to 11th century was a period of golden period of India, where India was very culturally strong in their tradition, their knowledge, their wisdom, the prosperity. So this science was evolved during those period of the time. But all the raw material of this Rasa Shastra, either of plant origin or animal origin or mineral origin, are moderate to severely toxic in raw form. And then there's a special methodology which takes 2 years to 5 years or 10 years to convert this non-toxic into therapeutic form, life savior. So this is a particular thing. And when we come out about the many diseases which we cure in our practice, we don't find any direct reference. Like pancreatitis is not mentioned in Ayurvedic text, but it talks about Shodhan, inflammatory disorder. So copper is an anti-inflammatory. Copper is a poison in a raw form, and when we convert this copper into medicinal form by following the methodology laid down in Rasa Shastra of Ayurveda, they becomes like magic drug and they become life savior. So it is not necessary that you will get the reference exactly, but as an anti-inflammatory, so many anti-inflammatory disorders are being treated successfully by using AMAR.
So let's talk about the ingredients of AMAR in raw form, as you just started.
And now I show you how we make this medicine, because the first thing I say parad. Parad means mercury. So mercury is taken, then tamra is copper, then gandak is sulfur, and on the right side and the bottom there are 3 herbs. One you can identify as lemon, and there is a devdali called Lapha echidata, and Aprajita is Clitoria ternacea. So these are our basic raw material. Next, please. And these, now the process starts. Mercury, which we take, you can see this, it is a shriveling shaped apparatus which we design ourselves. Mercury is amalgamated with copper, and after that it is put into the clay pot. Fire goes from down, and it is covered from the clay pot, and water is coming down to cool down. So we evaporate mercury from copper, and again after evaporation we grind with copper, again evaporate. So this is called 7 times extraction of mercury from copper, and we call it Tamrut Parad, that mercury has been evaporated from copper. So copper is an inorganic poison, mercury is an inorganic poison, and both poisons are being processed together What happens to Mercury, we don't know, because Mercury remains like Mercury. But after this thing, the Mercury goes into organic poison. These are 7 plants which are quite toxic in raw form. This plant, I don't remember the English name right now. Calotropis, something like it's milk. If you put in the eyes, it will damage your eyes. Similarly, this red color plant, if somebody eats, it will choke the throat and it may kill also. So these are all 7 organic poison which are ground with mercury for 40 days, and after grinding with each one, it is again evaporated. So this process, and this doesn't change the physical state of mercury, but this mercury become active. And one study carried by atomic spectrophotometry shows that this sort of mercury outer orbit of atom is more active. That means it is ready to cooperate with other things. So this is the first phase of making this medicine. Mercury goes from Hingoloth, it is extracted from Hingul mercury sulfide, then again with copper, and copper with poison, plant poison, and this mercury is ready after 9 months as the ingredient number 1. Next, please. This is copper. So copper is put into crucible. These are the wires which are taken from the fan because they are purest form of copper. And then it is red hot in LDO furnace. And when they are red hot, they are poured into sesame seed oil 7 times. 7 times it is again red hot and poured into buttermilk. 7 times in freshly collected cow's urine. 7 times in decoction of triphala, it is the 3 herbs, and 7 times in a lentil called kulthi. And after that, this becomes in this form, it is washed and dry. So none of the ingredient which is used in the purification, it is not there. And what we have seen, copper remains copper, only thing it becomes fragile. Is this time, if you hit it, rather than flattening, it breaks easily. So this is the ingredient number 2 after mercury, which is used in the copper. Next, please. Now we come back to sulfur, and the sulfur takes lesser time. This is special sulfur which is available in Indian market. It is melted with cow ghee on the fire, and when it is melted, it is poured into the decoction of triphala, harar, bena, avla, and when it is collected, then it is dried and used in that. Next, please. So these are the basic amalgam which are collected and prepared on the fire, and grinding and heating continues for years. It is the repeated processing. It is not something we are doing, and more processing we do, more potent it becomes. And after purifying mercury, copper, sulfur, this process continues for 2 years without any Saturday, Sunday, 24/7. And then what we have seen, that while we are seeing the clinical efficacy, we were seeing this good feedback from the patient, but still we were missing scientific part of it. So this particular mineral complex was subjected to a experimental study where rats were given L-arginine to produce chronic pancreatitis, and when it was given in 2 studies, it was seen that AMAR shows pancreatitis protective properties at the dose of 3 to 4 mg. So this is the first example of a mineral showing the reversal of pancreatitis in an experimental model. So we have more science add to our clinical efficacy. Next, please. And whatever we have been doing, we are continuously presenting at international forums. So we have nearly 3 presentations in United States so far, from Philadelphia to San Francisco and lately in Hawaii. And in India, we have numerous presentations at different colleges, different hospitals, and now webinars and as a conference material, as a main speaker. So this information is spreading worldwide now.
I think this is amazing that, your research, and we want more viewers to know about this, that, there is hope for pancreatitis, and look at all the publications. You want to talk a little bit about this as well?
Yeah. We are a private practitioner, private researcher. So far we don't receive any funding from other quarters for that, because we are in developing, but our passion and our determination to take this wonderful work to the masses is very clear. Our path is very clear, so we don't lose any opportunity, and we keep on publishing, like changing demography. What we have seen that non-alcoholic, vegetarian, non-smoker, non-genetic. So this was published, and we are the only one now to say that North Indian population is also having pancreatitis more than South Indian, because so far we only know that southern state of India is the highest incident of pancreatitis. So this is our first publication about the demography, and then anti-inflammatory properties, which I've shown you, L-arginine-induced chronic pancreatitis, that is there. And documentation of clinical practice has further been presented in two journals. So that is our journey of publications. And after coming from Hawaii, our abstract was also published in a formal journal of pancreas. So we are making our references step by step. So this is the story of the publication. And then next. So whatever we have shown in the slides, which will be with you forever, so you can share with people, it is in public domain. So they are the references to bring authentication on our saying, what we're saying about the numbers, about the data, about the mortality, about the diagnosis. So this has been put into the reference form. So we try to bring, because Ayurveda had been a science of ancient India, there was not many parameters and protocols available of present era. So we have a compulsion that while we are dealing with our traditional knowledge, we have to take advantage of the technology, and combination and tradition and technology can bring an innovation, because pancreatitis or pancreas-related cancer are increasing. But this mineral complex, which comes from the Rasa Shastra of Ayurveda, has many things to offer in the world. So this is our duty to combine both whatever resources we have, and we continue to treat patients in our hospital. We are based in Uttarakhand, India, where patients come, stay for a few weeks with us. We teach them how to eat, how to live, and when they feel better, they go home and they can do the medicines. So we try to bring science, we try to bring evidence and authenticity in our work without making big claims.
I think that's wonderful. Balendu Prakash's clinic, as he said, is located in India, in Uttarakhand. It's the north part of India. And if anyone who has any issues with pancreatitis, they want to consult, please let us know. I put our email here, care@nourishtalk.com. You can also send us a message on Facebook, and we will connect you to Balendu Prakash's clinic in Uttarakhand. It's called Pardav. But I want to open it up for questions right now, because we have some time. All right, I think maybe it was a bit too technical. We are, this is meant for end users. We will be coming back with a more detailed statistical presentation from Vaidyji in the coming month, where he will be presenting only to the experts. This is an educational series. We are trying to show efficacy of different natural medicines that can help you with your ailments. So this is an open forum. If you have any questions, please let us know. I will wait for a moment. Okay, I do see a question. I'm gonna stop share right now. All right, so there is a question. Dear doctor, can we take the medication from Bangalore? I think.
Oh, it is a question from India. We have
Yes.
many patients from Bangalore right now who are taking treatment and other part. But this disease is fatal in nature. We have seen the patient can do better for 5 years, and all of a sudden, any attack can be disaster or can be fatal. So my suggestion is that rather than going for easy solution, go for lifelong solution for that. And that way, it's very easy for me to sell this medicine in the world by just like other people are doing it. But we don't sell medicine, we treat the patient, and every patient has to be cured and should remain normal rest of the life, like a normal life is minimum 80 plus. So my humble request is to you that you contact us and share your reports, and based on that we will tell you whether you fall within the ambit of our work, and we will guide you. But once if you are diagnosed for chronic pancreatitis or recurring acute pancreatitis, we will like to treat you first 3 weeks at our place, because you have to learn a lot about the diet and lifestyle with medicine. Medicine alone doesn't work. Otherwise, in a country like India, where there are so many companies are selling OTC products and treatment, like Babas are treating, big companies are treating. So I can be like that. But our number is small. We don't talk about million patients and so many things, but every patient is a case to us, and we want to bring cure. So, but we can promise you that if you are a chronic pancreatitis, we will make you ex-CP. You will not remain a patient after coming to us.
That's wonderful. We have another question coming up. Okay. Well, this question is, should we come down to Dehradun to meet you? I think that's what Balendu ji just said. Right now, do you want to say something? Or,
regarding?
Well, he just said that there was a question that should we come to Dehradun to meet you? I think for patients in India, there could be a phone consultation initial.
We have a system that we have a number with us. So whenever they inquire, they send an inquiry to that number. That's the inquiry office, and then my office will ask for the reports. Because if somebody says that we have pancreatitis, we will not believe until we have a proof of diagnosis. And once we see every report, we ask some further details, which should be relevant and should be latest. And after that, basically most of the things are told by the office itself. But if they insist, I am available on online consultation to patients. But treatment, if they have pancreatitis patient, that will not be available on online. They have to be here.
This is just interesting that I think you should franchise your entire protocol to more people because it's so successful.
No, this franchising is easy, but what I see that when I see 2% death rate,
yes,
with us, so I want to make it to 0.
I see.
And this 98% success rate is not coming so easy. So giving franchise, making money is very easy for us, but making from 98% to 100%, it will be a big challenge. And now we have come to that point. There was the initial category, but 24 cases took medicine but did not start. But this is before 2014. But now none of the patient do that. They take medicine and continue with that. So we are too young. We will not do in hurry, and we will take time, because there should be more science is needed, more research is needed, and once it becomes a uniform science, then it should reach to everybody. But at this point, I think it is very important for us and for the people who are suffering with it that we should talk about one thing only, that how to get rid of this fatal disease and come back to normalcy.
Absolutely, yes. Well, anyone who's watching and they need to get in touch with Balendu Prakash ji's office, please let us know. We will immediately put you in touch. There's no problem. And then someone is asking how many years of report is required, or the latest report is sufficient. I think.
No, you see, we will ask the history that when was the first diagnosis. So our office is We have a very strong team, very dedicated team with us who are all science person, and they will ask A to Z. So when it
Yes.
was diagnosed, how many attacks, and what is the latest information, because these things are very important to give the honest answer and honest outcome to them.
Absolutely, yes. All right. Any more questions before? So this particular webinar was intended for the Indian, diaspora, Indian clientele, because from the timing point of view. So that's why we've done it a little bit early for California time, because
Yes,
Sunday
yes.
morning. So Sunday morning, people are not, are doing webinars at 8 o'clock. They probably.
Yes.
So any more questions before we wrap up? I do want to say there's so much hope. Please get in touch if you have pancreatitis. Balendu Prakash has devoted his entire life for research, and take advantage of the research he has done, and he has saved so many lives. So before I sign off, Balendu Prakash ji, would you like to say closing comments?
Yeah, I will. First of all, I would like to thank you, Amitaji, for coming forward and disseminating our work to the people. It's a great service, and we hope that with your people support and your this is, I will say, it's a great philanthropy attitude, but that you see something and you give it, share it to the people. I had been to many Muslim countries in my life, and many good things are there. And one thing is in Islam that if you have any good things happening to you and you are knowing about it, immediately share with the community. And that is called sabab. It brings punya to you. So you are doing the same thing. So God bless you. God bless you, because we don't have any commercial things. You came to us, you came to know about work, and you decided to take this information to the people in spite of your busy schedule. So I say thanks to you for the core of heart and to your organization. And I hope with this intervention, our aim to take the benefit of Ayurveda to the people by taking systematic science, that will be of great help to us. So with these words, I thanks to you and all the viewers who participated in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we are going to keep bringing efficacy of natural medicine in our sessions. They are free sessions, they're educational sessions. So please, if you cannot join at a certain time, help us spread the word, like us and share us. Signing off now, namaste.
Namaste.